Thing we're going to be using is thermal imaging. Why would we want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt? Right, they get cold. Who said that? Aha. So we're looking for cold spots, literal. So this is a FLIR camera. This is not a phone app that you can download. Sorry. So this camera is something a fireman would use to actually help save people in a pinch. He would just toss it on his phone and go into the burning building. So if you guys can see me, red, orange, and yellow guy, right? We're looking for blue and black. So I normally make a joke if I have a bridal party that I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. So, but with that, I make that joke because it's going to make more sense later on. The blue and black, I want it to either take shape or to start moving on its own. When I say moving on its own or taking shape, it's going to be in the form of a person. So I'm looking for head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. So does this capture something every single night? Not necessarily. But when we do capture it, it is a holy shit moment. I'm just going to put it out there. Like, it is a holy cow. So with this one, we're going to do a few starts and stops.
Okay, go slow, remember. He said go slow. So see what you want to look for. Remember when there's people in the picture? You're supposed to be recording us. See the people? So see how that's a dark area? Let's see if it moves. And if it doesn't, then you move over to something. Okay. And then maybe you can catch a ghost that says let's catch. Here, you want me to walk around? And you can.
No, wait. You can just stay where you are, and then I can just move around.
Is there anybody named John that lives here? I have John. Want me to move over there? Like, look at the different corners?
No, that's okay.
Come over here. That's Jane. We've been here the whole time. Come over here. Okay, ready? Stay there now. Look. See something?
No.
It says enough. Oh. We got 3 more corners to do too, so.
Wait, wait, stay there.
Okay, I'm not moving. Are you recording right now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Can you see something?
No.
Tell me when you want me to move to a different area. Go do this corner.
Oh, that is.
It's just a word thing, Calvin. Come on. Please don't get upset. You have the coolest one. Yours, if you catch a ghost, you're the only one that's going to be able to actually see one.
I'm not gonna say anything if I catch it.
Well, no, they'll show us in the morning. It's not recording voice. Okay, let's go to this side, this corner over here. We're staying here. Come on, stop. Look at me. Here, we're around this corner. And you can look over at them too, see? They're in our group.
Am I allowed to, or is that illegal?
These are our people.
Oh.
You can look at any of our people.
Alright, so you've gotten the gist of your word list, right?
Yeah.
Hot damn, I'm going to call it. Like, wow. Alright, everybody. I'm going to end on a good note.
Did you do something?
I think mine said something important. I don't know. Oh, what does it say?
I don't know. You look at my word list. It says hot band. So something's good.
It said Charles so clearly.
Did it?
So clearly. Like, so clearly.
Oh, you said it's Charles.
I can tell you right now, I don't know what happened here tonight. But you got yeah, you already had one Charles come through. All right, Randy, come on over. I know you're trying to.
Stop pausing. Pause.
Yes.
Yeah, you can stop recording.
Give your hands a break. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley.
Ooh.
This one's easy to remember because this is exactly where, the name of the city is where Eliza's buried. So obviously Philadelphia has a lot of ties to Charleston. This used to be called Dueller's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So every ghost tour comes down here, tells the same damn story. Again, I'm giving you different details. Let's get into it. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. That's the rat that I paid on cue. So every time I say the doctor's name, he kind of rustles around right behind me. Yeah. So, Dr. Joseph, by the way, all of you with spirit boxes, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is not coincidence. Just so you know. I don't believe it. Brown Eyed Girl. Brown Eyed Girl. Anyway, we get it all the time down here. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. Somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he was a local and knew everybody, and his name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph for a second because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs, which is exactly why I have the Ouija board device now. We were getting the letters R.I. all the time from spirit boxes, but we need a secondary clue, 2 different characters. So I bought that in hopes that we would actually get it directly so that way we can see it, instead of like trying to decipher what the hell R.I. means on the radio station. Anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, he's going to try to kill you, come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street, and you can stay there and rent a room. You'll be safe, you're good to go. 59 Church Street, just so you know, is known as the Thomas Rose House. That's why the word flowers kind of stuck out to me. We call it the Thomas Rose House now. We have gotten the word rose here, but I think that's the first time anybody has ever told me the word flowers. But anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. He took him up on the offer, they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. I think your finger is over the camera. No?
No, I'm seeing everything. Yeah.
Okay.
My,
Nope, you were.
I wasn't.
There you go. I'm pretty sure you're covering it. So, he was proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind that he's got his own cash and she's coming down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one, just so you know. And every ghost tour down here will tell you to listen for the whistles. So we're going to cover that in just a moment. Ralph and the doctor go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's just the way the hierarchy works. He gets better seats. So him and Ralph talk about the plays on the way home. They go see Richard III from Shakespeare one night. They're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph, not so much. The argument turns really heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. So they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends here. He goes to the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a monstrosity kind of mentality, right? The doctor saw the ad and bottled with, let's go to Dueller's Alley. We're going to settle this. Remember that this little argument started with a little argument over, an actress. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot his one shot. He didn't like Will's gun. He just wanted the courage and bravery to show up to the foe. Which is awesome. What happened to the duel, by the way. But Ralph, he has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap of the doctor. Dr. Ladd died. He drops to the ground. His friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later after refusing medicine. You have to remember he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out this bullet himself. Yes.
So he would have died like the same way that Hamilton's kid did? Like in a duel?
I don't know anything about Hamilton's kid. But you also have to remember the gunshot wounds back then. It's not a gunshot wound like what we think of today. We're talking about lead bullets here. This was 1786. So he probably tried to bleed it out himself. So, again, every ghost tour will tell you to actually listen for the whistles down here. You hear how quiet it is? It is always this quiet. It could be a Saturday afternoon, busy as hell on East Bay Street, and it's always this quiet. Again, we're using my voice recorder right now, so this is the part where you listen for whistles in the background. if you're going to go all the way through this alley on your own without a tour guide and turn on your voice recorders from your phones, keep in mind every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. So, again, when my daughter's on a tour, we race to see who's going to throw it first. So, especially since I got booted out of here. Here's how I got booted out. This is the fun part of the story. This is where Nick gets in trouble. So, first I will tell you that the alley didn't always go all the way through that way. It was actually cut off with a wall about halfway between us. That means those bricks on that side are way older than the bricks on this side. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there with some fingerprint swipes. And when I used to take my route this way, I would always point out that handprint. And everybody wants to try to get a reading out of it. So I two, it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. Just trying to be respectful, not knowing I was out of bounds of where I was not allowed to be taking tours. This is considered residential. The new neighbor came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. And we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. So I did not tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. You all can feel my pain of why I don't work on Thanksgiving. The next day, the 28th, I get a phone call after I'm talking to my partner, and he says, you can't go all the way down that way. You have to reroute the group or only go down halfway, which is what you're allowed to do. So I said, okay, that's fine. I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story we're going to. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person, so we're going to see what happens. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell that group who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, all right, we get down there. I told a little bit about what I did know about piracy, which was very little. Somebody else heard the number 300. So I wrote it down, researched it the next day because I didn't know what it meant in real time. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, December 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of the pirate trial. For the first time. I had been inside the building like dozens of times and never found anything. That's why I didn't leave the store. I was looking for it, never found anything. Where we're going is kind of a hit or miss. What I will tell you is that I've read more damn books on piracy than I've ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to piece together a factual investigation based on pirate lore. So again, there are going to be some numbers that are a little skewed during the history that I'm going to be telling you, but each piece of history came from a minimum of 2 resources. That's where my master's degree in creative writing comes from. So just be damn lucky that I have that and I'm able to piece this together. We're also going to get bleed over from where we are now. So again, you guys are going to hear certain things about Dr. Ladd, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's because of Dr. Ladd, or because of Ralph, you know, and you're not going to know what it actually means. The gate behind me before we leave. So a lot of people don't know why this gate is actually here. I know, keep hearing that.
I can see it right there.
Remember that the alley gate all the way through.
It's just a hot spot.
So that
It's like a
means
cat or
when there
something.
was a loser to a duel, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they're going all the way down to Queen Street with a dead body, dead weight, and literally dragging it all the way back up to get up to the cemetery. So they created this archway to take the dead body through. The gate was not there. I mean, I guess it was early 1900s based on the ironwork, but a lot of people don't know why this archway was here. There's another rumor that Andrew Jackson actually had a duel down here. I found no proof of any of this whatsoever. So if you guys hear that in another tour, it's not saying it's not true. I just can't find any visible proof. So, any other major questions about duels? I'm not going to tell you the 3,000 rules it takes that you can't insult their mothers, dogs, cats, cousin, whatever. Like, there's a lot of rules to dueling. So I read through them. It's in very, very old English, and it's very unique to read. But at any rate, what do we have going on with that word list over there, Colin?
I got Charles,
Yeah, another
Okay.
Charles?
Lauren,
Hope,
Carter.
Liberty.
Charles and Lauren are both relevant to this location. First off, the husband that we talked about at the Pinkley Mansion site, he's buried on the other side of this wall, literally.
Sally.
As far as Henry Lawrence Pinckney, he's buried, like we've been getting more and more clues to him, almost like a, hey, you need to research me, I'm part of the family too. He's buried where we're going to be passing by, but we normally don't see clues to him until we get over to the Powder magazine, which is very weird. Did anybody else hear anything, or were you guys all
I got
focused on
Island.
Island?
The Rhode Island thing. Just
Did you really?
Oregon.
We have Veronica too.
I don't know who Veronica is. I heard that when we were leaving the
Okay.
Pinkley Mansion site. So yours I don't have to write down because it's doing it for me. So, but Island is definitely cool. It could be either way. It could be Rhode Island, or it could be, we're talking about pirates. Island.
Did you get Rhode Island or Island?
It said it before it said the pirate thing. Before you said the pirate.
You guys get anything out of yours? Not
It's Oregon music.
Oregon music. That's right.
We have the word salad as well. Did anybody vegetarians?
Smile.
You'd be surprised. It's the silly words that you don't think are relevant are the ones that are probably the most relevant.
Did you say we bring our own ghosts? I had a salad like not even like 4 minutes ago.
Was it dead?
It was dead.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting.
Oh, we got people
telling
coming.
us its name.
Yeah.
My name is Sally.
Oh.
All right, let's go learn about pirates. Let's go up this way. You guys are flying.
What's it say now, Cal?
Yes.
It said behind.
It's an average
Wow.
of 65.
Lines for the restroom.
Everyone's gonna go to the restroom now. It's funny.
I'm sorry.
Why'd y'all switch?
Just because.
You don't trust
I
the
wa-
guy with the camera?
No, I wanted to do it. That was cool.
I wanted to see the rats.
Still on David?
I had 2 pet rats.
Yeah.
My dad.
I figured as much. People don't get excited about rats unless you pet them.
It's funny.
Number 3.
Mom, the person just watched me pee and he said fine.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
What?
The
Someone
person
said.
just watched me pee and said fine.
You, I had it.
Unless
He
you get
didn't
another
watch
number
you.
to go.
No, the ghost did.
Oh.
Ghost watched me pee and was like, fine.
Nice.
And that's all. No. Anybody need hand sanitizer?
There's something in there, actually.
Is there?
Oh yeah.
I always carry it. Any letters showing up on your end?
KED.
Anything new, Cal, on yours?
KDF. Cat 5. KEDTY. Cat 5.
I can't sit down.
Well, she's done now. Now stand up.
Anything?
Be careful with that.
It said 45,000.
Like 45. So when you guys are hearing these,
On this one, it tends to be just kind of like bursts. What's the longest string of consciousness you've ever heard? Like
so
3, 4, 4, or whatever?
I will tell you that the first week we were using it, and again, it's always like within the first week of me using a brand new device. This used to be my last stop, so I'm wrapping things up. It was a really light night. So the teams, like, they were a little disappointed. They were kind of like, it's okay, you know, kind of thing. I'm packing it up, and that person hands that back to me, and he goes, pirate, and we all heard it. Because it was, again, it was dead as a doornail, because they were all. But the cool thing was, it was close enough to the thermal where we actually had it on the audio thermal imaging camera.
Oh wow.
And it was definitely not like the Pirates won the game. It was just one word, pirate. And again, somebody who studies lexicon and phonetics, like, I know that wasn't part of a sentence. It was more like, I'm a freaking pirate. You know what I mean? It was that kind of mentality. I was stoked. Like, that was really cool stuff. We do get a lot of terms out of it that are, yours is more likely to become disembodied.
Go slow. Don't do that, Calvin.
Keeps saying I got really stoked.
You can tell. It's definitely
Man, it's
not.
been funny for some reason.
It'll change because there's no
Give
activity
me a
here.
memory frame.
No, I'm kidding. Everybody else. Stop. This is all. He's gonna see all this. Stop doing it.
No, I thought you wanted to move for me.
I will if it's disembodied. Over that one, not necessary. It's going to be very broken up. All right. Potty break over?
Yes, I think we're
Pretty
good.
good? Yeah. All right, perfect. So, what is it?
CPT.
CPT. Nope.
Chris spelled something.
This particular location, we're going to be able to spread out, but I bring us back here because the other tours like to just cut through here. They talk about the powder magazine and they move on. So just kind of keep that in mind when we're filming and we are spread out, but let's kind of go through the history. What word do you have?
Get one let out.
Did
Oh,
you-
it's just funny.
Well, because we literally just said that he was listening to it and he said, "Oh, that's so funny," and then it literally appeared. And
You said that's so funny?
well, he said that's so funny because he was listening to my thing.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know, no correlation. Just funny.
So we're going to be discussing the little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're unfamiliar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's basically a turnbuckle. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I talked about earlier, you can tighten those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So thank you for this guy.
It's not just.
No. It actually held gunpowder magazine for 7 different wars, and there's only 7 of them. But in one rebellion, 7 wars. It's a museum. So super cool place. The building is the structure of it. If you're into architecture, like go take your 30-minute tour for $5. Like it is well worth it to see that weird ass building. But we're here because those earthquake bolts are significant to why we're here. Those were the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. This building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar ghost. So if you guys have seen the TV shows where they use like a teddy bear to like attract a child ghost, it's the same type of principle. So again, it's just what I call a familiar. We don't have any buildings this old, so again, Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. We're just hoping that she's going to be here in the same 15 to 20 minutes that we're here. So let's get into the story. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. Anyway, sorry if anybody works for the government. Yes, I've actually pissed off a CIA agent one night because I actually had one in my group. He's like, I work for the government. I'm like, oh, joke I made all night. But at any rate, so 1708. Follow me. There's a lot of twists here. I will slow down on the twists. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far? The 3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How angry was she that they had to leave Ireland by boat to come here? Just pointing that out for you gentlemen. Treat your ladies right. Take care of the damn country. Anyway. Of course. But at any rate, so they land in Georgetown. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation and keep things afloat. So hence the familiar building. Let's take one step backwards to Ireland for just a second. Anne was said to be a badass, even as a young child. They say when Anne was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We've had the words servant, knife, and belly show up all in the same evening. Plenty of times, just so you guys know. Yeah, crazy shit.
I just heard shovel.
Shovel? Wasn't a shovel. It was a knife, for sure. But at any rate, let's fast forward. The building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne is stoked. Why? Because she's going to fall in love, so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. So, the first guy she falls in love with. Yes, I said first because there is a handful, and we're going to go through them. That's what makes her story unique. So, first guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going, right? So, we've already mentioned her pirate name.
Go walk in front of me. Go slow though, okay? You want slow movement. Oh, dude.
There's no line.
Stay there. Stay there.
What?
I'm gonna show you what you look like on this camera. It's hilarious. Lift up your arm.
That was like a beast.
Look. Look. What's your face? I'm gonna watch you lift up your arms. Yeah.
That's because I'm wearing glasses.
Yep. Look. Watch you lift up your arms. Cool. That's hilarious.
Creepy.
It does look creepy.
Manage.
Manage? We're supposed to be by this wall. He said that. Because you're walking around. No, you're not stretching. No, you work out a lot and you don't stretch. Really?
Weren't they just talking about pork? Wasn't she just talking about pork? Beef?
Well, he was saying you're hanging.
court
They're
case.
hanging people.
Ooh.
I just heard Charleston.
Charleston? Cool. Calvin, go stand over here. You're, like back by the wall. You're too close to me.
I can't even stand the lion.
Go back by the wall.
Tiny.
Oh, come on.
Disappear. That's cool.
Let's go back over here in this corner. He said most stuff is in this corner. If it ever happens, I guess. Don't get in his way then, or her way. Go to this corner, but go around her. You got her name? Wow. Go back, Cal. Go back. This corner. Okay, stop right there. Cal, stay. Stay, stay.
And Bonnie. And Bonnie, your goat.
Come on, Bonnie, where are you? Show yourself. Please. It's okay, Cal. Okay, you can walk now. Hold on, don't worry, trust me.
You just have to tell her that.
He's in there over there, and I told her to be quiet. Don't worry about it.
This is really cool.
You like it? I'm glad.
Different body than
Stretch out. Remember I told you? Children. Yeah.
Just want to have fun.
Really? Oh, because of the
I
girls?
said, yeah, because she's a badass. I want to hang out with her.
It's funny.
And he's laughing. Also, I found the word woman, Mom. It's Miss Rachel lady has found a woman like 15 times, and I found it twice. So, woman.
It's cool.
women.
I found black palm, and he said it's the blackest good. And his black beard. She was like, had some relations to.
I'm just telling this. No one knows what.
No, we're not going to
I'm just saying.
This is recorded. All the stuff you can hear. This is recorded. This is recorded.
Can I see your word list, Calvin?
Oh.
Let's see what you got going on. Let me take that from you. Let me just take a look. Yeah, hold on, nothing. Word not is vague. It's definitely a piratey term because of the ships. But again, I'm not going to like tie that down to jokes, tie it down, not to really anything piratey. You know, call it, you know,
She
paranormal.
Christian, I heard Jesus.
We're near the church. You get it all the time.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
you guys
right,
see Philip
yes.
there.
Oh,
It happens
sorry,
all
sorry.
the time.
wow.
And I don't bring it up until you guys start to hear it. Because again, it's a nightly basis. I don't even bring it up. You guys are going to hear it anyway. You're going to start hearing like Bible preacher. All
Is it
kinds
because people are in there
Oh.
talking about Jesus? Is that why we
of, no,
can
it's
hear it?
because we're near a church. I mean, that's our oldest church that we have.
So the radio's talking about it then?
They're using the radio to talk to us.
You're picking up
Okay.
frequencies of
Okay.
Yeah.
ghosts.
So it
speaking,
is-
right?
yeah.
Think of it as Bumblebee from Transformers. You know how Bumblebee used the radio to translate?
Yeah.
Same
Oh.
principle.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So it is different ghosts. We're just looking for a specific ghost. More like.
I mean, we get a lot of believers. You know, we're in Charleston. There's death everywhere. So it's a matter of like, I'm telling you about the things that I caught in the past. Right? That's why we talk about pirates here. So, but we're also near the church. So whoever else is nearby is going to tell you things like Bible, priest, preacher. Like, hey, look at the church. You know.
What?
Yeah, my name being shouted is very
Who's next? I think.
And Bonnie. Give me details.
Watch your steps. Ask her which husband was her favorite. Are you seeing something? Wait, let me get my infrared too.
There is a sign right there. The train that picture.
What are you looking at?
Yeah.
It's a tree?
Yeah, it
Let me do my infrared here with you.
See? It's like literally between a tree. It's like it's the tree.
Wait,
It
there are
looks like
people
a
over
hill.
there. Mom, there's people over there. See?
So if something is standing in a three-dimensional plane, it's going to pick up what those movements are.
So it would move. I think.
Yeah, it would definitely move, and we would be able to ask it questions.
Come on, Ed. Go over
I
here.
heard Aline.
Okay, what's up with these women's names?
We had a Shanti earlier. I don't think that was a name from the 1700s.
Yeah, I heard
Why do you keep saying respectful?
Here, I'm gonna get a picture of you two. Juliet. Oh, Dad too. Come here. Hey.
We're not posting this up.
Okay, I won't. I promise.
Please don't.
I promise. It'll be fair.
It'll be like
Mom.
Shh, get a picture quickly together. Hurry.
For
Hurry.
some reason,
Show me your devices. Hurry. Come on, guys. Hurry. Perfect. Thank you.
Don't do what?
He doesn't want me to put it on Facebook. He's embarrassed about this. Come on, we're falling behind, guys. What? I know. They're like, wow, look at his jump ball.
That's so good.
Hey, shh.
So, not much I'm super excited about in here. Waiting to see if there was another 7 that was going to show up. The doctor's birthday is a double 7. It's July 7th. So we get the number 7 here often. I want you to also keep in mind there's 2 other number 7s relevant to this location. John Calhoun, your 7th vice president, is buried on the other side of that wall. We don't normally hear from him until the month of March, which is when you gave me the number 3. I was waiting for 18 or 31. Those are his birth and death date in the month of March. So waiting to see if we had the number 7 to prove like, hey, I'm the 7th vice president, and then 318 is my name. Like I was looking for clues like that. But this also serves with 7 different boards. So we got somewhat of a name going on with the Luigi board. I can't prove any of it yet until I go through the cemetery records. Just got the number 6. 6 for sure. But yeah, one of the other terms, I mean, you had the word king for some reason. That would make a whole lot more sense to me if it were a direct answer. Does that make sense? So this location is another reason why I give that heated warning at the top of the board. Let me tell you why. This is a fun and crazy stuff. A year ago, this past September, I brought my group to the back, same size as this one, probably 8, 9, 10 people, and the kid next to me literally goes white as a ghost the minute we enter the space. So I have to pick him up by his armpit to be able to stop him from. You're obviously going to be in the dark as well, and then we're going to blindfold her and noise cancel her up, and that way she can't hear us at all. And then I'm going to be asking the questions, hopefully getting answers. We're going to be filming everything. We're also going to stay pretty crowded on her when we go into this session. So when I say crowded, it's because the other tours will come through here, and again, we don't need to be filming them, and they don't need to see that I blindfolded a child up here. So kind of keep that in mind.
It's hilarious.
So we're going to go over, I'm going to take this entire group, except for the 2 of you, over to that desk over there, and we're going to talk about why we're here. So let's go over this one.
Natalie.
So funny.
Alright, so I'm going to be very brief over here, so I can kind of explain that Estes method a little bit further once we get over there. But first time I came here, I had no idea what we were going to find. I mean, look around. There's a million monuments in here. I brought a very small group as I was trying to explore new spaces for, obviously 2023. And what we found were the exact year of 1828, the name Henry, and the name Tim. This is Henry Timrod, born 1828. So, hot damn, I know I've heard this guy before. Let me do a little bit of research to see what we got going on. Very brief history on his life. He was very sick through most of his life. So kind of keep that in the back of your brain. That's a big part of his story. He's obviously alive, during the Civil War, so he wants to fight for the Confederates. So he goes to the battlefield to fight for the Confederates. your sit. Go home, be the voice of the war. They knew he was a poet and a writer. So he came home to Charleston and he started writing about what was going on the battlefield. He became known as the laureate of the Confederacy. So for us writers, that's a very high title. So a few years after he comes home, he has a son. We're going to be trying to find out what the son's name is when we're asking questions. His son's name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he only lived for 9 months. So, again, very tragic death. So, a few years after his son passes away, Henry's still mourning. His college friend calls him up and says, I have a cottage out in Columbia. I want you to come out here, finish working on the piece you're supposed to be working on, leave Kate, your wife, back home with her parents to mourn even further, and you can have some peace and quiet to continue working, make some money. So he goes out there, and that's where he writes his last words. Beholder of brief mortality. Translates to person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. That blood stain looks like a man writing over his bedside. This collection is actually held at the Charleston Library Society and is only shown 1 day a year on Halloween. You have to be a member of the society in order to be able to see the book. They call it the blood book. However, and it's beautiful. I'm going to show you what this blood page looks like. And then we're going to go for asking questions to see if so, this is you can see that looks like a man writing over his desk. You can, to me as a writer, even his last words, beholder of brief mortality, and he coughs and dies right on the page. So again, this is what they call the blood book. This is a very shy, introverted man. So hopefully it's not going to take long for him to come through. And I will be asking Adrian questions as if she were Henry. Now keep in mind that Chris and Adrian don't know who we're looking for. So whatever names or things that pop up are going to pop up. Oh look, we have another friendly rat. So again, some have been very successful, others have been like a dud altogether. Like there's nothing coming through. So
Oh, there's a rat.
Oh. That's what you just said. No.
I got needle and haystacks. This will be good.
Can I go pet the rat?
Come on. Let's stop and look at that right now. We're still
Can you get a
doing,
video?
we're still doing this. Come on. They're from breeders though. Like they're not that kind of rat. No. Yeah.
Oh god, I have hamsters, but like I cannot stand the tail.
Here, back away though. I want to be able to see if there's a ghost
get
around
her
here.
out of that for a minute.
Randy, back up.
Ghosts, like,
Oh goodness.
Mom said I want that stuff.
I want a video
Just a
game.
moment. A couple of things about being under like this. Again, I want us to huddle in pretty close.
Oh.
So, Adrian, when you're under again, you're going to only be under for 10 minutes. Okay? I'm going to time it. This is the only part of our night that I time. I have no idea even what time it is, just so you guys know. And the only reason I do that is because by the time you come out, you're going to remain seated. Because when you come out, you're going to be a little dizzy, a little disoriented, and your eyes are going to need some time to adjust. So when I say dizzy and possibly, like if I see your breathing is getting too heavy, I'm going to have Dad tap you out. So just be mindful of that. When you tap her out, be gentle. Wait for something on the leg or the shoulder. So again, whatever he decides, those are usually the two most common places. You won't need to jump or shout. When you have those earphones in, we can hear you. Just whisper. We'll hear what you're saying. So kind of keep that in mind. Is that volume on the spirit box loud enough where you cannot hear us? They could get both earbuds in. Okay, perfect. All right, let's do this. It's the blindfold first.
I'm confused over there.
Does she need her headphones?
He's gonna ask her questions, and if
Then earbuds.
she's gonna answer as if she's the host. Like she's gonna answer.
So you guys are
he's
getting
gonna
the
answer
point of
for
why
her.
we're doing this, right? We're taking
Sure,
away her
no, for
senses, so
eyes
that way
and
she doesn't know what's going on around her. I'm also doing this as a
Right?
metaphorically
good.
blind because she doesn't know the history.
Yeah, go. Straighten out her nose.
So
Not even on my ear.
Creepy.
Yeah, you gotta really like once they're on her head, you can just pull down.
okay,
Pull down pretty easy once they're on her head. Okay?
Don't do that. Just don't do that. Should we have all of our stuff on?
And then pull down.
Yeah, I definitely want some footage here.
Okay.
We're definitely gonna keep Randy's spirit box on mute. because we don't want to disrupt anything. But everybody else should be listening in. And Rachel's spirit box did speed up, just so you guys know.
Oh, his thing just said beware.
We're not going to beware.
Okay.
Annihilation.
Right, exactly.
So,
Should I be recording?
yes, and we are all going to be quiet in this location. Again, I want to huddle around a little bit further because I've got another tour group coming in. So,
Can I start? Yeah, it is noise canceling.
so she's going to repeat whatever she hears. So, Henry, if you're here, why don't you tell us what your name is? If she gets too loud again, I'm going to have you tap her.
Big man?
Not a big man. Remember, he was short. Very interesting. Henry?
Ice.
There's said ice.
Henry, why don't you tell me what your wife's name was?
The world.
What was your wife's name? Henry?
No way.
Okay, so we'll move on from your wife. Why don't you tell us what your job was? What was your job?
Poop?
What was your job, Henry?
Go shoddy.
Henry, tell us what your job was, please.
Boogie boogie.
Henry, we got some other groups coming in here, so we're going to be very discreet. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you want us to know about?
Singing.
Singing. Who is singing? Henry, what do you want to tell us? Anything you want to tell us?
All around.
All around, yes. They're starting to gather all around. I know it gets crowded in here. I know you don't like the big crowds.
Gather.
If you're not
6 feet.
If you're not Henry, can you tell us what your first name is? It's been under about 3 minutes.
Obnoxious.
This is not obnoxious. We're learning about you or whoever is here. I definitely want to know if you see any numbers.
Old.
Run. It says run.
Who is here with us? Who do we have?
Always heaven.
We need a name.
Matt.
I can't think of a Matthew Memorial in here at all. And
Do you know?
Don't know. That's why we're asking. That is St. Michael's Church. We do get the name Michael here quite a bit.
Women.
Matt is not a woman. I'm looking for Mr. Henry Timrod. Is he here with us?
Hey. You.
Listening. I'm trying to learn more about whoever's here. You gonna tell us what your name is?
On the step, we can.
There's no steps.
Right there. Behind you.
Shut the door.
Sure. Henry, I'm only going to give you another minute.
Do you know? It says another.
What was your son's name? Henry Timrod, what was your son's name?
Jump. Oh. Whoa.
It's been 7 minutes. Let's go ahead and tap her out.
Guess.
I'm guessing Henry Timrod is here.
What's that like?
What's what?
John?
Not the son's name. Yeah, let's go ahead and tap her. We're not getting any answers. You notice she quivered a little bit.
Good job.
So, anybody hear anything, see anything to your devices?
There was a lot of stuff I couldn't tell because it would just be a really loud noise. So some stuff I didn't get any clear words at all.
Okay. It's because your spirit box is on super fast right now. It only goes to 4.
I know, but it's like
It's still about 150 milliseconds. It's still pretty fast.
Okay.
So he gave us 2 names that I don't know who they are. So Matt and John, like relevant to this location. I don't know who those people are. What does our word list look like? Where's that?
It's right here,
What do
behind
we
you.
got? What's the last 3 or 4 terms?
Everything after, that's all been just like since we've been here.
ice, Mom?
That was before. That was way before.
It's like I was playing a game.
It was almost like taunting me a little.